Hello, everyone. Let me know if you have audio so we could get started. Today, we're going to talk about Hindu scripture. And guess what? We're going to try to talk every week about Hindu scripture. We're going to do a series of reviewing Hindu scripture going forward. Okay. So hopefully, we'll do this every week. Every week, we will pick one scripture and we'll see what we can learn from it. Okay. And also, just before you told me that I'm racist or that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and I should be speaking to people who have the background. I do this with the collaboration of a channel that the Queer Indian Atheist. The link to that channel is in the description. I double check, triple check everything, but I don't know if I. Oh yeah, I think yeah. I don't want to give anything. Yeah, just check in the link in the description and see that channel, and we're doing this together. Okay, so and that person is an ex-Hindu and very familiar with what they're talking about. Okay, so I'll study it myself, but I also double check. Oh, my name is Persian. Thank you for. Okay, so people are confirming that the audio is good. Yeah, guys, just in case you don't know, I do live streams in Persian a lot as well on the Atheist Republic's Persian channel. So that's why I sometimes forget to change it back to English. Cool. Oh, here, see, this is the channel, Queer Indian Atheist. Go and subscribe. So it's good. All right. So today we're going to be looking at a scripture. Let me share my screen. I'll read the scripture to you and we will analyze the crap out of it. Okay. And we could also maybe pay attention to the comment section and see what you guys think about it. All right. All right. First, I will try to read it. And then we'll talk about where the scripture is coming from. Is it a significant scripture? What does it mean? What is it talking about? How is this anti-caste? Is this part of Hinduism or not part of Hinduism? Is everything okay? All of that, okay? And we'll try to be objective by maybe looking at the live chat and see if anybody disagrees. Okay, so somebody's talking about the Bhagavad Gita. We're not talking about the Gita today, okay? This is part of the Puranas. We'll talk about the Gita. We already had streams on the Gita. The Gita is just okay. Here, this is the one that we're talking about. This, and we'll take it into context and all the things that you guys tell us. Okay, so here it says to diminish the burden of the earth, the unborn Lord will take birth in the Yadu Dynasty and perform feats impossible even for the demigods. The demigods, okay? Propounding speculative philosophy, the Lord as Buddha will bewilder the unworthy performers of Vedic sacrifice. Okay, and here's the most important part. This is the part that we want to highlight. We could talk about the rest of it as well, but this is the part that we're going to mostly be focusing on. Okay, I mean, initially be focusing on. So it says, and as Kalki, the Lord will kill all the low class men posing as rulers at the end of the age of Kali. Just like for the people who might be like thinking that they recognize this Kali is not the same as our Kali. Okay, this is like different Kali. Okay, but we'll get to that. Oh my god, people are already losing their mind in the live chat. Oh no, yeah, you guys are debating the Gita. Okay, fine. If you guys, okay, so Gasian American is already saying, "Yikes, what the f?" Yeah, we'll get to this. We'll analyze that first before we decide whether or not we want to take this scripture, this verse, seriously as an important part of Hinduism or not. Right? Before we analyze what it means, maybe we're wasting our time. Maybe this is like a very insignificant scripture. Okay, so let's say if it's important or not, and then see who is Kalki. Is this a good guy or a bad guy? And who are the people who are supposed to be He is supposed to be killing. Again, YouTube, we're not endorsing anyone dying. Okay, we're just reading scripture and analyzing it. None of this is our views, and whether this is like bad or good. Okay, we're going to pass judgment on it. Somebody saying, "Is this the Puranas?" Well, well, let's see. Okay, yeah. Yes, Bengali Hindu. You guys are way ahead of me. Okay, yes, this is Kelly. We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to all of that. Maybe like slow down, everyone. Okay, slow down. One step at a time. A lot of ex-Hindus and Hindus in the live chat. You have to understand that the rest of us have an Abrahamic mindset. Okay, our minds are not as open as the rest of you. So we have to take one step at a time. Okay. Oh my. Okay. Yes. So let's go up here before we come back to the text 22 and see what the hell we're looking at. Okay. We are looking at. Okay. I know I'm not going to pronounce this right. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam. Was that even remotely close? Like, so this is this Srimad Bhagavatam. Was that even remotely close to what it's supposed to be? I don't think so, but like, let's go with it. Okay. So let's see where, you guys remember this chart, right? Okay. So Boop is saying, is the term Shudra used specifically? We will go to the original text and see what low class man, what was the actual scripture that was translated to low class. Okay, so you're saying was Shudra used specifically? You're way ahead of the rest of us. We will go there. Let's first see what the hell we're looking at. Did I say it right? You're laughing at me. Yeah. Okay, so I'm assuming that I did a terrible job at pronouncing it because people are laughing. Oh, somebody's saying it's pretty good. Okay, cool. All right, so let's see where this goes. Okay, so remember, we have what is said in Hinduism to be the most important scripture and what is actually the important. I mean, nobody denies this. Okay, so here's the thing. People say that in Hinduism, it's the Vedas that are the most important text. They're the oldest one, the most original one. They're ancient even by ancient standards. Like ancient people consider Vedas to be ancient to them. That's how ancient they are. Okay. Okay. So they're very, 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 very old. I mean, I think like it's arguably the oldest scripture that we have. If somebody correct me, are the Vedas not the oldest scripture that we have access to? I think it is. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna start this. Oh, somebody. Okay, Katie is helping me with the name of the Bhagavatam. Your pronunciation is not too bad. Okay, good. If I say it slowly, is it? Okay, so Katie is confirming the Vedas are the oldest scriptures that are still in use. Okay, so there might be oldest scripture, but are scripture that nobody is using right now. So the Vedas are the oldest scripture in history that are still being used. Right? So, but most these Vedas are so foreign to many Hindus that some people would even suggest that does not much to do with modern Hinduism, right? For example, you want to know how foreign these Vedas are to modern Hinduism? It has cow sacrifice in it. So the Vedas have cow sacrifices to God in them, right? So the practices in the Vedas are very foreign to what we recognize as Hinduism today, right? However, what we consider modern day Hinduism is built upon something that the Vedas were, it's like it's an evolution of what the Vedas were based on. But some people suggest that maybe we should call it two different religions, what we have as Hinduism today and what the Vedas were. Like, I don't know, would you consider, Katie, what would you call it if you wanted to give it a name? But if you want to insist that they're the same, sure. But most Hindus do not really. I mean, they consider the Vedas to be sacred, but they don't really read it that much or take it seriously for in current Hinduism. What Hindu scripture that is more famous, considered in what we consider Hinduism today, and what people pay more attention to, is one. Okay, here it goes. Here it goes. Be with be you know. Be with me, okay? Mahabharata. I did it. Mahabharata. I said it right. And the Ramayana. Okay? No, Ramayana. Yes, I just said. So these are the epics. Okay? So these epics together will be it's called Itihasa, right? You know, these are very famous, and you know, people. I mean, the Gita, for example, which is the most famous book in Hinduism, is part of the Mahabharata. Okay, so these are the most famous. Oh, well done! Thank you so much. Somebody on Twitch is telling me, "Well done, thank you." Okay, so Katie is saying maybe we could call this older religion Vedic paganism. Okay, that's a good name. Okay, but let's, for people who want to insist that this all is Hinduism through and through, let's call it all Hinduism. Okay, but most of Hinduism is focused on these books over here and on the Puranas. Okay, the Puranas are so important in Hinduism that some people call them the fifth Veda. So we have four here, and the Puranas. I mean, here is calling the epics the fifth Veda as well. I mean, I don't know if that's true, but let's call all of this the fifth Veda. So they're so important that they are referred to as the fifth Veda, right? And from the Puranas, there's, okay, let me zoom in a little bit, right? So you see these are the Vedas, and we come here, these are the Puranas, and you have the Mahabharata, which the Gita is one of it, and the Ramayana, the one where Rama decided to burn his own wife just to prove that just to check if she's like loyal or not. That's like kind of insane. But we'll get to that as well. Like, none of this is good. It's beautiful though. All right, so Puranas, so when it comes to stories, you look at the Mahabharata and the Ramayana. Ooh, I'm doing good today. Okay, when it comes to epic stories, which if a lot of people were not sensitive, could make for very good Hollywood movies. Okay, this is like really good source for Hollywood movies, but people be sensitive, so they won't turn into Hollywood movies. Okay, so this is interesting. Okay, but when it comes to practices and what's good and what's bad. I mean, there's also a law book, but we're not going to get to it. That's somewhere else. But when it comes to most important teachings in what we consider Hinduism today, it's the Puranas. Okay, and there are 18 major Puranas, and there are some minor ones, but there are 18 major Puranas. And look here, even on the graph, it tells you what's the most important Purana, right? It's the thing that we just read. Do I have to do it again? Okay. Bhagavata. Wait, was that the same thing that we saw here? Is it the same thing? Yeah, well, let's see, because it seems a little bit different, but actually I think they're the same. Yeah. Okay, so if you look at here, it says Bhagavata Purana, also known as Srimad Bhagavatam. Okay, so they're the same thing, or simply Bhagavata is one of Hinduism's 18. Hold on, let's zoom in for you guys. Is one of Hinduism's 18 great Puranas. Okay, but it's also the most important one. Okay, so if you go to Puranas, where's the 18? Oh yeah, here the 18. You can see there's 1 to 18, and the 18. This is one of them. Okay, we were just here. Anyways, so they're the same thing. So you can see how important this is. Do you understand how significant this is? From Puranas being the main scripture where you get your teachings and practices and understanding of what's proper Hinduism, there are 18 of them, and this book is the most important one. So you see the status of this scripture in Hinduism. Did I say anything that is incorrect? Anybody wants to tell me that I said anything that is incorrect about the status of the scripture? Oh, thank you. One of our members is here. and is telling one of our other great. Oh, see, we have ex-Hindu atheists here. Look, we have so many ex-Hindus in the live chat. Oh yeah, so yes, the Puranas is not part of the old Vedas, but it's so important that they decided to call it the fifth Vedas. But also, it's still pretty old. Like the Puranas, like when we say it's not as old as the Vedas, they're pretty old, but just like not by Hinduism standards, they're not that old. Because Hinduism, yeah. Okay, so people are confirming that it's correct. Yes, okay. Yeah, you're confirming. Yeah, Puranas are also called the fifth Veda. Okay, so everybody's confirming what I'm saying. All right, cool. So nothing, no major conflict. All right, so let's go back to the text that we just read, okay? Especially the last part. We could talk about the rest of it as well, but let's focus on the last part. Okay, so what is happening here, and who the hell is Kalki? Okay, Kalki is, and why is everything, why is the earth, why is, like, it seems like there's a lot of things happening. Okay, so this is all happening whenever you hear Kalki or the age of Kali. This is all you have to realize that we're describing certain things that are happening when in Hinduism's version of the end of times. Okay, this is what the age of Kali is referring to. Okay, so if I bring Kalki for you here, so Hinduism, unlike other religions, seems to have multiple end of times. Okay, but this end of times that is coming is the final end of times. Okay, so let me actually show you what I mean. Okay, so this is Kalki. Wait, why do I have? Okay. So let's read together. It says Kalki, also called Kalkin or Kalkarki, is the prophesied 10th and final incarnation of the Hindu god Vishnu to end the Kali Yuga, one of the 4 periods in the endless cycle of existence, Krita, in Vaishnavism. Oh, this is the followers of Vishnu, cosmology. The end of Kali Yuga states this. The end of Kali Yuga states this will usher in the new epoch of Satya Yuga in the cycle of existence until the great dissolution of the universe. Okay, so if you didn't understand what just happened, okay, so there are 3 major gods. There's a trinity in Hinduism. Oh, hi, Oxymoron. There's a. I know I'm saying a trinity, and people are like, Armin, you're talking about the Hinduism and your Abrahamic mindset. I know. I'm talking to people with Abrahamic mindset, so it makes it easy for them. Okay, right? So you have Shiva, Brahman, and Vishnu. And Vishnu is one of the 3 most important gods in modern day Hinduism. It used to be other gods in the older versions of Hinduism, right? Indra and Agni used to be more important, and there was a prototype of Shiva that was also more important. But right now, these are the most important gods. So you have the old gods and the new gods. These are the new gods, right? And these new gods have they have avatars, right? So they have reincarnations, right? So they have incarnations, right? So Vishnu's incarnations are very famous, right? Like, for example, if I'm correct me if I'm wrong, Rama and Krishna are incarnations of Vishnu. See how important Vishnu is, that his incarnations are like major deities, even though it's not the original Vishnu. Like, we're talking about Rama and Krishna. Give me Rama. What number incarnation? So Vishnu has multiple incarnations. 10 of them are major. 10 major incarnation and some minor incarnations, right? So Rama is number what? Somebody tell me. Rama and Krishna are number what and what? Okay, somebody's saying Rama is number 7. So Rama is the 7th incarnation of Vishnu and Krishna. Okay, thank you so much for storming and Twitch. Krishna is number 8. Number 9, I think, is Buddha. Is number 9 Buddha? Oh, somebody is giving me different numbers. Somebody saying Rama is 8, Krishna is 9. No, it's 7 and 8. Yeah, 7 and 8. 9, no, 9 I think is Buddha. Isn't 9 Buddha? I think based on different reports and the scripture, sometimes Buddha is number 9, sometimes it's not. Because Vedas, yeah. Let me see. Oh, yes, somebody's confirming 9 is Buddha. Okay. Okay, so there's nothing directly in scripture that makes Buddha number 9, but there are Hindu priests who have appropriated Buddha as the ninth. Okay, so they're saying Buddha is debatable. Okay, so based on some understanding, Buddha, this is a very interesting way of some religion trying to merge other religions within. Like I remember they did something like that with Jesus as well. Number 10 is Modi. No. Number 10 is Kalki. This is number 10. So this is the 10th incarnation of Vishnu. Okay, and he's about to come. And okay, hold on. So Kalki is this. So he's going to come at the end of times, but during this period's end of time. So we had the history in Hinduism has cycles. There are many cycles, and in this cycle, we have an end of times coming, and Kalki is going to be is the Messiah figure at the end of times of this cycle that we're in. And apparently we're in the final cycle, if I'm correct about this, right? So Kalki is described in the Puranas as the avatar who rejuvenates existence by ending the darkest and destructive period to remove adharma and ushering in the Satya Yuga while riding a white horse. White horse? Are you serious? I'll get back to this white horse right after I finish this, okay? Riding a white horse with a fiery sword. The description and details of Kalki are different among various Puranas. Kalki is also found in Buddhist texts. Okay, this is more detail, okay? But okay, what is it with end of times and a Messiah figure on a white horse? What is this obsession with white? Okay, let me just tell you what I'm talking about, okay? In Islam, we also have a Mahdi figure or Messiah figure that is supposed to come at the end of time. And guess what? He also has a white horse. Here's one depiction. Here's our Messiah figure. White horse. This is the Mahdi. This is Imam Mahdi, Imam Zaman. Is this a coincidence? This is the Mahdi. Hold on, look at this. The miraculous birth of Imam Mahdi. Yeah, I found these. Here's when he comes back, and look at all these generals and soldiers, and everybody is like, oh, he's been coming. No, he's not. He's already among us. Look, like you see all these soldiers from all the different ages bowing down to him. And here's a more beautiful one. Oh, this one's glorious. The government of Imam Mahdi. Here's a YouTube cover. The Mahdi 10 facts on his white horse. And this was a weird one. I'm not going to read this because of YouTube. I might, get a strike, but I don't know what this got to do with each other. I found these YouTube covers. Anyways, what is it again with Mahdi's? This is a Mahdi. This is also, oh yeah, it's Gandalf as well. Gandalf came back on a white horse too. Why do people come back on a white horse? Is it like, yeah. Anyways, this is basically Mahdi. This is Hinduism's Imam Mahdi. That's what it is. Or Jesus. Take your pick. Okay. So I don't know if this is a coincidence that they come on a white horse. Somebody please let me know if this is just a coincidence, right? So okay. So here's the most important. So basically, what you have to understand is that this Kalki is like a good is a god. Okay, is a good guy. He's coming to make things right. Like everything is bad at the end of times. You know, everything is the opposite. Good people are doing. Good people are not in power. Bad people are in power. People are doing evil things. There's so okay. How in Islam and Christianity there's a lot of like YouTube channels and a lot of priests and stuff, and moms telling you like, oh, close to the end of times, mothers will hate their children, people will backstab each other, everybody will just have sex out of like marriage, and there's no shame, and corruption is through the roof, and there's war. A lot of us are familiar with this in Christianity and Islam. Okay, so it's the same thing in Hinduism. The end of times, there's a whole bunch of signs. They have different signs, but things are bad. Okay, so you can go if you want to go find videos of the age of Kali. There's a lot of YouTube videos like telling you, like looking at Hindu texts and like, oh my God, look, this politician said this. This is just exactly like the scripture said. Like it's end of times, right? This is I don't know. I don't think they're copying from each other. I think like there's this just obsession with the end of times in many religions that even if they're not copying from each other, they just organically come up with this. I don't know. Maybe they are copying from each other. Somebody tell me why is this so similar? Like people keep telling us like, oh, Hinduism is so different from Abrahamic mindsets. It's so different that you won't be able to comprehend. And then you come take a look and like, well, we have the same. It's almost the same thing, right? I don't know. There's so many funny videos on YouTube, like looking for the signs of end of times in Hinduism, right? But things are bad, and just like Imam Mahdi in Islam is supposed to come and make things right, that's what Kalki is supposed to do. Kalki is supposed to come and make things right, like set things in order. Okay, so if you start from the beginning of the script, you could see that the same theme. And if you also go and read above and below it, you can see that's basically the theme, right? And there's so many scripture like this. We will have future episodes on Hindu scripture that we will learn more about. I know the age of Kalki, and Kalki and stuff like that. Okay, so to diminish the burden of earth, so he's like doing a good thing. The unborn Lord will take birth in the Yadu Dynasty. I don't know if you guys want to learn about the Yadu Dynasty, because the Indian queer atheists sent me some interesting stuff. That's kind of funny, actually. Yeah, I might. I actually read a little bit about the Yadu Dynasty for you guys. Okay. And he would do some impossible things that even demigods can't do. And Buddha is also here as a sidekick. So I think, correct me if I'm wrong, it seems like Buddha in this scenario is being a sidekick to Kalki. Is that what's happening? So Kalki is doing his thing and Buddha is doing his own thing. Is Buddha the sidekick here? Where were we? What happened? Oh, here. No, Buddha is not enemy here. I don't think so. Is Buddha? No, Buddha doesn't come back. Okay, so you're saying this is talking about the final three avatars of Vishnu. Oh, so in this scripture, Buddha is considered to be. So this is one of the scripture that Buddha is like the ninth incarnation of Vishnu. Okay, so Vishnu is doing something through Buddha, and then he will do something through Kalki. Anyways, I don't know what the hell. I don't know how Buddha is doing his thing while Kalki is doing his own thing, given that they're supposed to be different incarnations of the same goddamn God. I thought, given that both Kalki and Buddha are being referred to, this is one of those scriptures that doesn't consider Buddha to be an incarnation of Vishnu, right? Because I know there's contradictions. Anyways, I'm assuming that Buddha is just a sidekick and doing his own. He's helping his own way. Okay, I'm just gonna go with that. Yeah, I know. Yeah, so then Buddha, then Kalki, but not. Okay, Katie, it doesn't seem like this scripture agrees with that. This scripture, because Buddha is doing his thing at the same time that Kalki is there, or maybe things don't have to make sense. Yeah, I think at this point in time when they were writing the scripture, the whole theory of Buddha being the ninth incarnation was not that developed. That's why he's still here. Or am I missing something? Yeah, so again, random guy is saying Buddha was probably just another popular figure Hindus appropriated over time. Oh, so Katie's saying they are during different times. Buddha will appear and die, then Kalki will appear much later. Okay, fine. Whether they're the same person, the incarnations of the same God, or just two different dudes doing two different things at the same time, as Buddha, what he will do is he will bewilder the unworthy performers of Vedic sacrifices with speculative philosophy. So basically, Buddha's superpower is to come like and confuse philosophers with his own weird philosophy. Like, I don't know, that doesn't seem pretty epic. Like Kalki is gonna come with like a fiery sword, and Buddha is like, oh, let me act like I'm a great philosopher, but like give you philosophy that will like confuse you. I confused you. I mean, okay. So he confused them because they were these philosophers shouldn't be doing philosophy anyways because they were unworthy. And Buddha with his superpower, and it's just like, yeah, and it just doesn't sound as epic. Like he will come enough. He will like, he's like a, I don't know. He will come off as a university professor, and he puts his thesis, and all the philosophers in the world will read it, and they will just like, yeah, that's it. I'm done. Philosophy is not for me. They will realize that philosophy is not for them. They will realize how unworthy they were. Okay. Anyways, that's my interpretation of it. Okay. I don't know how this part works. Okay. But again, this last part is the most important one. Okay. Kalki, the Lord, will kill all the low class men posing as rulers at the end of the age of Kali. Okay. So it says low class men. Again, YouTube, we're not advocating for any of this. Okay. We're just reading scripture and what scripture is teaching, and we're criticizing it, or maybe like we're trying to understand if we understand it correctly or not. Okay. I have a question for you guys. Do you think this translation is accurate? Do you think like whoever translated the scripture was being honest when they translated the original scripture to low class men? Just guess here. Like, I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I have no idea. But let's see what you guys think. Okay, Oxymoron is saying seems very accurate. And guys, by the way, you guys know where Oxymoron stands on all of this, okay? Oh, you guys saying it's correct. Okay. So Forever Storm is saying, yeah, it's correct. Somebody's saying, oh, the roaring man is saying probably not. Okay, so random guy is saying, do you think that low class is actually low caste? I don't know. We will investigate together. Somebody's saying show original scripture. D is saying yes. Somebody's saying more or less accurate. Somebody's saying I don't think so. Okay. This is a great answer. Have to be investigated. This person is saying absolutely not. And no idea. That's another good answer. Okay. All right. Well, let's investigate. Okay. I don't know if I'm going to bring up the right place. Okay, there we go. So this is the same scripture that we just looked at, isn't it? Oh, it's Forever Stormy saying Hinduism doesn't have a concept of class. There's only caste. Well, we'll see. Yeah, random guy saying, damn, I know, right? Because that sentence makes absolutely no sense. Low class masquerading as ruler. How does that work? LOL. What is low class even? Oh, yeah, you're right. Because if you're low class and a ruler, that's a contradiction. Because if you're a ruler, you're high class. So that doesn't even make any sense, right? So yeah, but let's see what they actually mean. Gaging American saying, was this written before or after the Manu Smriti? I don't know. That's a good question. Katie, can you answer that? Anyways, let's get back to the topic at hand. Okay, so this is exactly the same scripture where we looked at, right? See, it starts with to diminish the burden of the earth, and here you see And as Kalki, the Lord will kill all the low-class men posing as rulers at the end of the age. But you could see here, word by word, what the Sanskrit was, right? Here, low-class men, or Shudra. It's Shudra. Yes, it is. Am I saying it right? Shudra. It is Shudra. What does this mean, people? Exactly. Shudra is low caste. People are confirming Shudra is low caste. It's not low class, it's low caste. Kalki, the 10th incarnation of Vishnu, will come at the end of times, and he will, I don't want to say this because YouTube might think I'm saying it. He would do something specific. I'm not saying this, YouTube. He would do something to people who are rulers, but they're not supposed to be because they're low caste. Yeah, everybody, look, we have a lot of people from India that are confirming Shudra is lower caste. Yes, exactly. The last Varna. For people who might not understand what we're talking about, Shudra or Shudra is one of the 4 Varnas of Hindu caste system and social order in India. So various sources translated into English as a caste or alternatively as social class. Do you think it's fair to translate it as social class? Do you think one is able to move from one class to another? And if yes, do you think one is able to move from one caste to another? Caste is by birth, class is not by birth. We already went through scripture many times on this channel to show how scripture understands caste. And we will do this more. We will actually go into more detail. Caste is by birth. We will analyze more Hindu scripture, both the Vedas and Puranas in the future, to show you how, based on Hinduism, even the modern Hinduism and ancient or the original Hinduism, all of them understood caste as something that is by birth. Anybody who's telling you otherwise either doesn't understand scripture or is lying to you. This is what Hindu God is supposed to do, according to Puranas, to set things right. Because low caste people apparently should not be rulers. And apparently their punishment for being in power is to be eliminated by a just God, by the 10th incarnation of Vishnu. This is Hinduism. Oxymoron is saying generally no mobility past Manusmriti according to most traditional Hindu texts. Oh, that's very honest of you, the Oxymoron. That's thank you for that. But even based on the ancient text, if you actually, we will go based on the Vedas as well, and you could show me if you disagree with me on that as well. Because even based on the Vedas, the way that these varnas were explained, it shows that it's part of the Genesis story in Hinduism, even based on the Vedas. So it's based on how one is created. Okay, it's based on it's a creation story. And if you actually read the text before and after, you can see that people are born into their caste. We will go to those. We will review those scripture here again. Okay, Katie is saying, fun fact: Shudra is also originally the only non-Aryan caste included in the caste system. Right. So from the 4 castes, 3 of them are supposed to be Aryans, and arguably, okay, and the 4th one are non-Aryan people, part of the society, or non-Aryan people. I don't want to use the word Hindu because that's like a later invention, but non-Aryans that are part of the society would be part of the lowest class and caste. and they will also be considered, arguably, some people would be consider them basically slaves. Oh wait, I didn't read the whole thing. This was before the genetic mixing, but even some later scripture referred to Aryan as purer. Again, YouTube, we're not saying any of this, please. We're just reviewing what people's ideologies are, and we're criticizing them. None of this is our views. Please do not strike us down, okay? Let me actually, okay, so okay. Let me actually defend Hinduism a little bit here, okay? Not that many people take the scripture seriously, okay? So there's the hope in Hinduism, is that these kind of views has affected people, because there is a caste system in India, like, who we're kidding, right? And it has harmed a lot of people, the view on lower caste, okay? But unlike Islam and Christianity, the separation of Hindu belief and Hindu practices from scripture is a lot more possible than it is in Islam. So, for example, Islam has a lot of problematic verses, but a Muslim is supposed to follow them. Like, many of them don't, but theoretically, you're supposed to. Hinduism also has a lot of problematic scripture, but that the pressure to follow it is not there. You don't have to follow any of it, okay? So technically, we're not criticizing Hindu practices here, okay, or what Hindus do or how Hindus are. That's a completely different discussion. We could go criticize the caste system and how it's affecting Hindu societies separately, okay, and how that translates into people's lives being miserable or not, okay. What we're doing here is we're criticizing Hindu scripture independently from how it affects people. We're just looking at the scripture itself and judging it based on how it is. I understand that a lot of people want to defend them and be like, oh, well, you don't have to follow it. Yeah, okay, so we're not talking people, we're talking about scripture. Yeah, and also scriptures, Hindu scriptures have more contradictions than any other religion, because they didn't used to be one religion. There was a whole bunch of things mixed together. So Forever Stormy saying the top two castes tend to take these things seriously. The only silver lining is that they are heavily outnumbered by the other two castes. Okay, but even the top two castes are taking it less seriously than before as time goes by. So there's that. See, guys, I'm trying to be fair here, okay? I'm giving you the way out, or the silver lining, or like the steel manning of, like, for example, even if Hindu scripture has some things that seems to be worse than even Islam, I'm like, well, nobody has to follow it. So, but in Islam, technically, you have to. So, I'm giving you all sides of this. I'm not trying to be one-sided, right? All right, so I think I'm going to end this here, because I was going to go. Okay, I'll quickly read about the Yadu Dynasty mentioned here. Just bear with me, because there's something, because once I read about the Yadu Dynasty, what comes after is pretty funny, okay? So this is, again, information that the Queer Indian Atheist sent me. Link to the channel is in the description of the Queer Indian Atheist. But first, I will tell you what the Yadu Dynasty is. This is not relevant to the part that we read, but I just want to, because after that, I'm going to tell you some funny things about it, okay? Okay, so the Yadu Dynasty, the Puru and Yadu dynasties are the descendants of the legendary king Purur Avas. Nailed it, from the Vedas, who was a famous Hindu ruler in the Treta Yuga, or the second Yuga in Hinduism, right? So you remember there were cycles. This was in the second cycle. In contrast, we are living in the Kali Yuga. Right now, this is Kali Yuga. We're living in Kali Yuga, and that's the fourth cycle or the final cycle, which is the worst cycle. Every time you hear Yuga, think cycle. Okay, so Kali Yuga means like Kali cycle or the fourth cycle or the worst cycle. Why do we get the worst? Okay, so I'm not gonna read that one. I think that was enough information for this funny part. Okay, this is now gonna be fun. Okay, so this is the commentary from the queer Indian atheist explaining the lore of how Krishna and members of the Yadu Dynasty died. Okay, I'm just gonna read it because this is not gonna make much sense, but just understand how weird and complicated and interesting and insane at the same time Hindu scripture can become. Okay, so Samba once pretended to be a pregnant woman to prank a few sages into predicting the gender of his baby. One of the sages, so he was like a man, but he acted like he was a woman. Is that correct? Wait, let me actually bring my own screen here. Was he a man pretending to be a woman? And he went to the sages and like, I have a baby. Give me the sex of my baby, to confuse, to call them to. Was he a bit man? Okay, I'm going to read the rest. I'm just going to wait for your answers. All right. One of the sages saw through his prank. Oh, yeah, Samba was a boy doing a prank. Okay, so he was a boy. One of the sages saw through his prank and cursed him. Oh, I should have just, okay, it says cursed him. I should have just continued reading. To give birth to an iron mace. The boy gave birth to an iron mace. Okay? I don't know how that happens. The mace was called Gada in Sanskrit. And the mace would destroy his entire race? How does a mace destroy a race? Okay. Next day, Samba gives birth to the weapon. I never thought in my entire life that I would be saying this. A boy gave birth to a weapon. A mace came out of him. Where did it come out of? Which hole did it come out of? Somebody explain the anatomy here to me. So, and then it continues. Krishna's grandfather ordered him to crush it into powder and spread it into the ocean. So the boy gave birth to a mouse. Krishna's grandfather told her to turn the mace into a powder and spread it into the ocean. The powder washed up onto the seashore and grew into long reeds of Areca grass. So the mace was turned into powder, set into the sea, and was washed across the shore, and it grew into grass. It turned into grass. Later, the Yadavas, or members of the Yadu Dynasty that we just referred to, right, were at the same shore for a festival, and a fight broke out. What a coincidence, right? So the grass grew up, the grass that used to be powder, the powder that used to be a mace, the mace that used to be a baby of a boy, a prankster boy. At this shore, the Yadu Dynasty, they were having a festival, and there was a fight. They didn't have weapons, so they used the Areca grass, which was as strong as iron, to kill each other. They attacked each other with grass. Okay? One large piece of the weapon was swallowed by a fish that was caught by Jara, a hunter. Oh, this hunter was the monkey that Ram killed, apparently. during the events of the monkey that Ram killed during the events of the Ramayana in his previous life. Oh, this hunter used to be the monkey that Ram killed in his in his previous life. He used to be a monkey that Ram killed, but in this life he's a hunter, and he caught a fish that ate the grass. That was the powder. That was the mace. That was the baby of a boy prankster that the sages cursed. He found the piece and made it into an arrow. Wait, he made the arrow out of a fish? Okay, so we have now an arrow that used to be a fish that ate the grass, that was a powder, that was a weapon, that was the baby of a boy that used to be a prankster. So it continues. He later mistook Krishna's partly visible left foot for a deer and shot at it. As a result, Krishna died and Kali Yuga began. So the reason why you and me right now are in the final cycle, the fourth cycle of Kali Yuga, is because the incarnation of the monkey who Ram killed shot an arrow that used to be a fish, that used to be grass, that used to be a powder, that used to be a mace, that used to be a baby of a boy, a prankster boy. He shot it at the foot of Krishna, thinking that Krishna's foot is a deer, because Krishna apparently is that big, and by that killing him, and that's why life sucks. That's the reason why life sucks, because now we're in the fourth cycle of Kali Yuga, and yeah, this is why your lives are miserable. Because this is the horrible cycle, the worst cycle. Anyways, I thought that was interesting. Oh yeah, so somebody's saying, so we're basically here because of a prankster boy's glory hole tearing apart. Yes. Oh, and also here's another fact. Samba, the prankster boy, was Krishna's son. I'm assuming Krishna had a lot of sons, given that he was having sex with many women at the same time. And by at the same time, I don't mean like around the same time. I mean literally the same time, like at the very second. How many women was he having sex at the same time with, by copying himself on having sex with them? What was the number? It was a big number. Oh, hi. Somebody is using, oh, I wish I could see the emoji. Oh, yeah, I can see it. It's the Susanna licking. Oh, no, it's the Susanna eating popcorn and licking Quran emoji. Oh, yeah, 16,000. Oh, Susie is here. Where's Susie? Oh, yeah. Okay, Susanna, you missed some really glorious stuff. You should go back and watch this. Okay, so Katie's saying, I would argue that the people don't know the scripture because Brahmins have actively kept. So for people who don't know, Brahmins are the number one caste, the highest caste, the upper caste, have actively kept up from learning it throughout history. You're only supposed to follow what they tell you. Yeah, so this is Brahmin supremacy. And Brahmins are the only people who are supposed to read the scripture. In fact, I think one of the Shudras lost his head for reading scripture, right? Anyways, yeah, 16,000. Krishna was having sex with 16,000 women at the same time. That's pretty epic. Like, he copying himself, so he was feeling the pleasure from all that sex all at the same time. Imagine what that feels like. Oh yeah, Asian American is also confirming 16,000. Yeah, 16,000. Wait, 16,000 or 1,600? 16,000. No, it's not 1,600. It's 16,000. It's Krishna. Here's a more accurate number: 16,108. Okay, cool. Yeah. Susanna thought it might be 35. No, it's 16,000. Okay, maybe we'll do another stream later on that. Anyways, we're gonna end this here. There's guys, Hinduism has so much interesting stuff to offer. I thought like if I do scripture review on Hinduism, maybe at some point we will run out of things to cover. It's like I need like 10 lifetimes to be able to show you the interesting stuff in Hinduism, in Hindu scripture. If I do it once a week, like we have so much content. So make sure you subscribe. This is very interesting. I'm fascinated by all of this, and I'm learning as I'm going along. And I think I already know more than a lot of people without a Hindu background. Like a lot of people are like, Armin, you don't know nothing. I think I know something. Like compared, I think even compared to like average Hindus, I know a little bit more. Average Hindus. I'm not talking about scholars and stuff like that. So I'm trying my best, and we're reviewing here together. And if I get anything wrong, you could leave it in the comment section and correct us. But yeah, if you enjoyed this, make sure you subscribe. Make sure you hit the bell notification button so that so you see more scripture review. Because I haven't seen anybody do this. Like I haven't seen any YouTube channel go through Hindu scripture with trying to be objective or critical. I've seen mostly like either unfair attacks on it or like just praising it. So I think we're doing something new here, and if you think that's worth something, please like the video so that encourages our channel to grow and so that more people see this. And also, if you think this is helpful, please share the video and recommend it to as many people as you can. Okay, Eric is saying, mates, you need to do a lot more stuff on Hinduism. It's been 4 months since the last. I will do. I know my life has been very, very busy. I will make sure that I will do it more, a lot more, like around once a week. Most weeks I will do this. Okay, and yes, some people are saying hit the like button, and thank you. And somebody's saying take care of your invisible left foot. Yes, make sure nobody throws grass at it. Fish that is an arrow that used to be grass at it. Anyways, thank you guys, and talk to you later. Bye.